These are little 2-bite Italian donuts made using ricotta cheese, which when you think about it as an ingredient, also crosses that bridge between savory and sweet. In this case, I need a cup of creamy ricotta. The nice thing about ricotta in baking is it holds its structure and shape. So when you need a batter to sort of stay in place, this is what you want. Before I add anything else, I like to smooth out the ricotta. This lightens it up a little bit so that these little donuts are just so airy and fluffy. Now I coat these little donuts in sugar, so the batter itself doesn't need a lot, only a 1/4 cup. Because I'm mixing the sugar with the ricotta, the friction from the sugar will draw out the oils from my lemon zest here. I'm adding the zest of a whole lemon. I'll just stir this for a second. Really push the ricotta and sugar together. Now for 2 eggs, and I'm going to separate them. The whites just here in this little bowl, and I'll add the yolks to the base batter. I'll also toss in a teaspoon of vanilla and give that a quick little stir. Now, to make these zeppole even lighter and airier, I take my 2 whites and I give them a light whisking by hand. I'm not making a meringue, I just want to lighten them up a bit. There we go. So now that they're frothy and foamy, they get stirred in. All right, and now for the dry ingredients. Super simple. A cup of all-purpose flour, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and just a pinch of nutmeg. And I just stir this until it's combined. How easy is that? And now for the important savory element, adding fresh basil to the recipe. Just about 1/2 cup of it. Fresh basil has a lovely licorice note to it. It complements the lemon. If you just roughly chop your basil, it'll turn black very quickly. So what you want to do is a cut that's called chiffonade, a ribbon cut. So I stack all my basil leaves together, one on top of the other, and then you roll it up. And with your knife, you cut across the leaf. By cutting this way, the basil will stay green for longer. And that's roughly 1/2 cup. Sprinkle that in. Almost time to fry up my zeppole. But before I do that, I want to get some sugar ready to toss them in while they're warm. I'm going to put about a cup of sugar in my bowl. And to this, I'm going to add more lemon zest. The cooked donuts get tossed in the sugar while they're warm, and that will wake up the aroma of the zest as they tumble around. And additionally, I fried up some fresh basil leaves. Look how it just locks in that color. And what I'm going to do is crumble them in, because they're all crispy, into that sugar. Oh, and it's going to smell and taste so good. Now, I use an ice cream scoop to make nice little round donuts and drop them into my vegetable oil, which is heated to 350. Do this carefully, drop them in close to the surface. You'll see them drop right down to the bottom, and when they start cooking, they're fluffing up and they'll rise to the surface of the oil. In total, it takes about 4 to 5 minutes. You may have to toss them around a bit so that they turn over and cook evenly on all sides. All right, these are ready to come out, a nice golden brown. You want to toss them in the sugar while they're warm. Whee! But you want to wait a few minutes before you eat them. They're just too hot, so I'll put them back on the tray just to cool down a little bit. You roughly get about 16 zeppole.